Hey everybody, today I'm going to be taking this 2-inch standard receiver tube I picked up at Harbor Freight, a couple of these scrap pieces of, what is this, 1/8 by 4 steel, and some square tube, and I'm going to make my own hitch receiver so that I can hook a small trailer. I'm not sure what the weight rating will be on this thing, probably not a whole lot. Just something where I can pull a trailer around the yard and not have to work quite so hard doing other things. So let's go ahead and get this build started. Now to begin with, when I crawled up under here, I noticed that there was a bracket right over here on the passenger side and one on the driver's side, and there's plenty of threads left up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a small piece big enough to span this a good bit and just mount it right up here on these 2 bolts. From there, I'm going to run the square tube from one side of this plate over to the other, and then mount the hitch tube right here in the center, right below it. So to begin with, I think I'm going to cut this thing, we'll go with 9 inches to begin with. That should give us plenty of room. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and loosen these nuts and bolts up here. I'm basically going to test fit my piece just to make sure that everything works, and go ahead and mark the holes where they're going to line up with these 2 bolts here so that they can just get drilled and bolted on up. There we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do, this is really nice because it's letting me just slide it right up in between these little tabs for the whatever this bumper piece is, and the support right here. As soon as I loosened them, gave me a little bit of a gap, so that is perfect. Just go ahead and set it right up there. May as well just put it all the way to the back there. That's going to pull down that way. Just go ahead and line it up there. Draw me a little circle here. And a little circle here. And these will probably be the same on both sides. Let me double check it. Yep, looks like that'll fit on the other side too. So let me go ahead and drill out 4 holes, and I'll be right back. Now I got my piece cut here. I'm going to go ahead and reinsert these bolts and just make sure that this thing fits. That one is angling up just a bit. I don't know what the deal with that is. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult. What if we sandwich it in between? There we go. Well, if I sandwich it in between, it seems to work okay. There we go. Let's go ahead and get the other side put up. And then we'll get a measurement on this for how long the square tube needs to be. And one other thing that I'm doing here, if you ever find an excuse to get one of these Klein digital levels, or any other digital level really, it's really nice to be able to just magnetize it to something and be able to tell how far off it is one way or the other. Let's see here, which way is that? All right, that's going that way. So that's pretty close to 90 degrees. And then we can also tell this angle here, looks like that's off just a little bit, so it's tilting forward just slightly. So if I were to line up with this edge here, I would want to turn it down just a little bit. Otherwise you'll have your hitch poking straight up in the air going this way. Okay, now we're going to get a measurement from one side to the next. Oh, that is perfect. Looks like we're right at 28 inches even. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one at 28 inches, and then we're going to do a test fit, and I may just tack it up right here. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to put 1 tube or 2, just to give it a little bit extra strength. We'll see how the materials go and how much room is on this thing. Won't quite hold it. Oh, yep, there we go. It kind of holds its own weight. So, yep, there's a good fit right there. So let me figure out where this needs to go. And please don't whack me in the shins. Yeah, figure out where this thing needs to go, and then I'll just kind of give it a little tack on both sides. And yeah, I've got enough metal. I'm gonna go ahead and do a second one, just for fun, I guess, because I guess I can. Well, I think my welding is getting a little bit better. Now we got this plate all together. Now I'm going to figure out where the center of this is and go ahead and mount my tube right about there. I think I'm just going to do the one. I would much rather have this be the weak point of the whole thing rather than the cart. Well, there we go. I do think my welding is getting a little bit better. Could have done a little bit better on the corners, but yeah, there we go. So this is what it's going to look like. Looks like some sort of a crappy TIE fighter or something from Star Wars. Anyway, let me go ahead and throw this thing on, and then I think we'll just have to etch it, drop it in an acid bath, paint it, call it good. Well, there we go. It ended up with 1.1 degree tilting down. So that side's a little high, and that one's high, and that one's a little low, which is fine with me. Let me get this over here so you can actually see it. It ended up being, oh, where are we at? There we go. Fairly level, 0.3 degrees from side to side. Thought that was pretty good. That one doesn't really do too well because this top piece is curved. But this is what it ended up looking like. Do you think my welds are getting a little bit better somehow? And, oh, that's still warm. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and just drop this in an acid bath and get all this mill scale off. And then from there, go ahead and paint it up. Probably just do like some grill paint or something. Maybe some Harbor Freight rust cover type spray paint. I got some of that sitting around. I won't bore you with those kind of details, but if you do end up getting one or doing one of these yourself, just be very careful with your measurements. Make sure you don't get too close right back here where this handrail is. And I think this is 1 1/4 tube that hangs down just enough to kind of clear everything. And I think that looks pretty nice. And one other thing that I do know is, so I just grabbed this big drop hitch from Harbor Freight. My trailer likes to be about 12 inches right there off the ground. So yeah, that should work really well. It's gonna look maybe a little goofy with that big old hitch poking out the back. I might be able to find something a little bit better suited for it. But I think that's a 2 or 3 inch drop to begin with. But that should do it job pretty good. Let's give it a test jump just to make sure that it's going to hold. Yeah, there is a bit of flex into that. I'm not sure how much of that's coming out on the camera, but I mean, there's a bit of flex in there. I'm not sure where that's coming from exactly. I think it's the twisting motion, but I mean, 150 pounds jumping up and down on it, as long as you keep your tongue weight under, say, 200, you should be fine. I don't think I'll have that much tongue weight on it. I certainly hope not anyway. All right, well, tune in again next time, and if you missed the video I just did earlier on the winch bumper, it is finally skeletonized and done. So if you're looking for a winch bumper for your golf cart, make sure you check out that video. I'll see if I can tag it right up here, there, somewhere up in here.